Hello, everybody, and welcome to Riftbound Ramblings. And I'm excited because we've got a bunch more cards in this part 2 episode of all the cards that revealed to us that are inside of the Proving Grounds product that they gave us yesterday. So, this is part 2. The main thing about these cards is that they're generically commons, uncommons, and rares and such that are inside of the decks Master Yi, Lux, Garen, and Annie. But these cards are not exclusive to the Proving Grounds product. You will also be able to find and pull these cards in the Riftbound Set 1 Origins. So without further ado, let's dive in. First off, we've got some battlefields to cover. This is the fortified position that says when you defend here, choose a unit. It gains shield to this combat. And overall, I kind of like this one. I think this is a generic enough one that's going to help like calm decks hold on to battlefields. Meanwhile, shield does stack, so you can give this to little tiny guys that don't have any shield, or you can give them to like big champion units that do, to make sure that they are the ones that survive in a fight. Diamond tier, to me, I think it's just going to be a pretty easy throwaway battlefield to put in your deck of having to have 3 of them. So this one I think is pretty good, especially for calm decks, which might be a trend. Moving on, we've got Reaver's Row, which says when you defend here, you may move a friendly unit here to base. Hey, again, decks that are maybe trying to defend or not even as good at defending, it allows you to save one dude. We just saw the Master Yi deck, right? And Master Yi loves this battlefield because he typically is only going to have one unit at his battlefields that he's going to be trying to defend anyway. If this is the one, you get to save that unit without even having to use something like a Highlander spell. So I like this one a lot. I honestly give it a challenger rating because I think it's pretty easy to use and it's not like too game changing. You bring your unit back, find some other ways offensively to take that battlefield back over. Next up, we've got the Reckoner's Arena that says when you hold here, activate the conquer effects of units here. Now this one is like scary. And when I say scary, I mean scary in the sense of this has the ability to be very strong. Any on-conquer abilities that ever come out for the rest of time are something you have to consider about with this arena. And the thing about it is, if you have a bunch of conquer effects, you can play this, but then you have to be a little afraid of what your opponents are as well, because those are typically very aggressive decks, and they're going to be very good at taking battlefields, including this one if you sport it up. So I do think it's going to be strong. It's going to be very good for the decks that have a bunch of effects like this, so I think it is worth playing for those decks. Next up, we've got the Star-Tipped Peak that says when you hold here, you may channel 1 rune exhausted. This one's very strong, but I'm really afraid of you not being, or you wanting to put this in a deck that can't hold on to it. So it's good for the decks that want to hold on to points and are good at holding points, aka like calm decks, but it might be a little too scary to play this one and then your opponent have control of this battlefield. And then next up, we've got Trifarian War Camp, and it just says units here have +1 might. So very, very good for the decks that want to play a bunch of units. Things like Garen. Garen loves this battlefield. And I think it can be very good for aggressive decks that play a bunch of dudes. Even decks like Victor want to play this one because you can hold on to this very well by having your recruits become basically double their power. So I think this one's pretty nice. Next up, we've got, moving on to units and other cards that exist in there, we've got the Pouty Poro for 2 energy. You get a 2 might Poro unit for the Fury Domain that has Deflect, which, I'll be honest, I think is just good enough. It's a 2 mana, or sorry, it's a 2 energy, 2 might unit that makes your opponent think twice about targeting this with any sort of ability, which is pretty good. I mean, this has a Darius domain, which means it's a very good card to lead with because it's low costing for you to get your legions online, and it's a nice body that can't be like pointed at to just ping and destroy without your opponent thinking twice. Next up, we've got the Playful Phantom, which is a 5 energy, 5 might Shadow Isle Spirit unit for the Calm Domain, and it's a vanilla, so it doesn't have any effects. And honestly, I know I'm giving it a gold, even though it's a vanilla, but the fact that we've seen some units that are 5 energy and only give you like 4 might, and the effect is like kind of hard to pull off. I think in a set 1 format, sometimes vanillas are good enough, and maybe this one will be, but the reality I really think is that a lot of our people's decks that they're going to be building are going to have a bunch of cards that have effects on them and not really a lot of room for vanillas. So I don't actually think this will see play, but I think it's fun. Next up, we've got the Stalwart Poro, which is a 2 energy, 2 might Poro unit for the Calm Domain, and it has shield on it. So it's actually a 2 energy, 3 might unit as long as you're defending, and that's what Calm wants to do. I don't think this is going to be good in like the Lee Sin decks of, or sorry, in the Master Yi decks of the world, but I do think it will be good in things like Lee Sin or even Ari, and it's a good 2-drop, so I think this is a good one. Next up, we've got Falling Comet. This is a 5 energy spell for the Mind Domain with action timing that says deal 6 to a unit at a battlefield. So basically removal. It doesn't cost a power, which I am a fan of, but I just think that there's probably some better removal cards that we're going to be able to play, especially in the Mind Domain. So I think this one is fine if you're looking for less power costs in your deck. But 5 energy is a lot. This is kind of a lot of what you're going to be doing that turn. Next up, we've got Lecturing Yordle, 3 energy, 2 might, Bandle City Yordle unit for the Mind Domain. It has tank, which means it has to be attacked first when it's defending battlefields, basically. And it says, when you play me, draw one. And that's really good for a card that doesn't cost any power. So that is going to be a challenger rating from me, at least. Man, the fact that it also has tank means that it, like, obviously it's going to die first because it only has 2 might, but it means that it's less things getting assigned to your other units that have impactful things going on. So this one's pretty good for a common. Next up, we've got Mega Mech, which is a 7 energy, 8 might Bandle City mech unit for the Mind Domain, and this one is also a vanilla. And I I want to say that I like this one more because it is above the like might cost for its energy costs, but I'll be honest, guys, I just think 7 just costs way too much, especially in the domain that wants to typically be spending that energy on spells, not on dudes like this. And with removal existing in the game, I just think it's very scary to put a lot of eggs into this basket. Next up, we've got Singularity for 6 energy and 2 power. You get a spell for the Mind Domain that says deal 6 to each of up to 2 units. So we just saw the other one that was 5 energy, no power, deal 6 to one thing. But this one can only be played on your turn. And it costs 2 power. Yeah, I just think we're going to have better spells for this domain, guys. I really think even with the ones they've shown off, this one's not going to find a lot of room in your decks, which is pretty rough. But that's okay. It's just a little filler for a deck. Next up, we've got Cannon Barrage for 2 energy and a power. You have a spell for the Body Domain, reaction timing that says deal 2 to all enemy units in combat. So I have a rating on this card, and I didn't think about this until I got to recording. I don't think this card's very good. It is, however, very good in multiplayer. Okay? Because my problem with it is that it says it does deal 2 to all enemy units in combat, which is good. I just don't like that it costs the power to do so, but this can be very good against certain like sweeping decks. I don't actually think it's a bronze card because I'm like thinking about it more. But it's going to be very cool to play this when you have 2 of your opponents fighting over a battlefield, and you can play this to mess up both of their math, which is kind of cool. Next up, we've got Confront. For 2 energy, you get a spell for the Body Domain, action timing, and it says units you play this turn enter ready. Oh, and it also says you draw a card. So it replaces itself, doesn't cost a power, and says everything you play after this essentially can attack right away. Yeah, I think this one's really good. I think this one's going to be very good. Obviously, it eats up 2 of your energy for the turn, but the fact that it still draws you the new card, this is just even in a scenario. I think the worst case for this card is like if it's the last card in your hand, it's the card you drew for the turn. There's nothing wrong. Like you channel your runes, you go up to like 9 runes or something like, right? You trying to play this card and top deck into some unit to get back on the board. Something to get back on the board. And guess what? you did draw a unit. You drew a unit that costs 7 energy or less, and that means you can play it right away, and it comes in ready, so you can make an effort on the board. I think this card is very good for a common, and it only gets scarier if you're playing a deck that wants to play a bunch of units in a turn, or in a deck that is really good at playing one or two impactful units, and now they can attack right away. So I like this one a lot. Next up, we've got the Crackshot Corsair for 3 energy and 3 might. You have a Bilgewater Pirate unit for the body domain, and it says, when I attack, deal 1 to an enemy unit here, which is honestly pretty good. Again, the unit doesn't cost any power to play. It has equal might to its energy. I like that. And it deals 1 more, which is really nice. So I think this one is good enough to see play in decks that are trying to be a little bit more aggressive. I'm thinking things like Misfortune. I think this one isn't bad. Next up, we've got the Dune Drake, which is a 5 energy, 5 might Shurima Dragon unit. Dragon is important for the body domain. That says, when I attack, give me +2 might if there is a ready enemy unit here. So if your rival or your opponent has held a unit onto a base or on a battlefield too long, this will be a little bit stronger. It's already better, like, because it has the dragon keyword on it. I think this one is playable, but this one I didn't give it a diamond rating only because I'm not sure how the dragons are going to play out. But this one is on the body domain, and that matters. So I think this one's not bad. Next up, we've got the Mountain Drake, which for 9 energy, you get a 10 might dragon unit for the body domain, and it is a vanilla. So it's above the curve on energy to might scale. It is a dragon unit, which means we can reduce its cost quite a bit. And I think that is going to be the ceiling of this card. I personally, again, don't really like these high-costed cards for units because they don't really have any ways of protecting themselves. But this one can cost less, which means it probably can be pretty good in the body decks. Feels pretty good. And next we have the Morbid Return. For 2 energy, you get a spell for the Chaos Domain. Action timing, that says return a unit from your trash to your hand. And this card is good. I'm not going to say that it's not good. My problem is that they've already shown us a unit that basically does this for 1 more energy, but it comes with a body attached to it. So I don't really like this one because I think the other one, the little dog, is going to be a lot better. Next up, we've got Mystic Poro for 2 energy. You get a 2 might Poro unit for the Chaos Domain, and it has Vision, which is really cool. I like that. I like that this is already a very fine, aggressive unit to be putting in your deck. Something to play on turn 1 if you're going second, and it has Vision to look at the top of your deck. This one's pretty good. I think it's going to be really nice. Next up, we've got the Psy Scout for 6 energy. You get a 5 moot Shurima unit for the Chaos Domain. It has Vision, which is nice, and you can play me on an open battlefield. So that line of text is very nice. But this card does cost 6. What are the odds that there's going to be an open battlefield by the time you can play a 6 cost? I don't know. Depends on what you're playing against. But the fact that it also has Vision means I really like this unit. It feels nice. It feels good. The fact that you can immediately snipe it, maybe get a score, and you can Vision and look a little bit later. It's just a nice, kind of gotcha for your opponent where they have to kind of play around this very quickly. Speaking of, we've got the Sneaky Deckhand. For 3 energy, you get a 2 might Pirate Bilgewater unit for Chaos Domain, and it says when you may play me at an open battlefield. So same energy, but this one only costs 3. Now this one only has 2 might, so that's not a lot of stuff going on here. It is under curve, but wow, this one can be played for 3 on an open battlefield. That's pretty early on in the game. If you go first, it means you can play this on your second turn, and there's no way that your opponents have taken a battlefield yet. This gets you on the board quickly, which is pretty good. Next, we have Back to Back, which is a 3 energy spell for the Order Domain. Reaction timing that says give 2 friendly units +2 might this turn. I think this is pretty good. 3 energy for 4 might total as long as it's 2 units, and they don't have to be at the same battlefield. That's pretty nice. It could even be like 1 on a battlefield and 1 in your base before you go into attack. This one's not bad. I like that it doesn't cost a power, which makes me feel like this one might actually be good enough. Next, we've got the Daring Poro. For 2 energy, you get a 2 might Poro unit for the Order Domain, and it has Assault. So it's actually a 3 might unit, but only when it's attacking. And I like this one. Again, it shares a domain with Legion-based decks like Darius This is a good unit to play first before you get your legions activating. It's another 2-drop for those decks. I think it's going to be pretty good. Next, we've got the Petty Officer for 5 energy. You get a 5 might Pirate Bilgewater unit for the Order Domain, and it has Assault. So it's actually a 5 energy costing 6 might unit, but only when it's attacking. This one is not as good, but it is still above curve. So I can't really hate it. It's fine. It's really just fine. Next, we've got the Vanguard Sergeant for 4 energy. You get a 4 might Elite Demacia unit for the Order Domain, and he's just a vanilla. I think 4 energy is kind of the good part to be, though. Like, genuinely. So, this one's probably not too bad. 4 energy for the vanilla is kind of that ideal space where the vanillas might find a spot in your deck. Because going second, you can play this turn 2, which is not too bad. Next up, we've got the Noxian Drummer, which for 3 energy, you get a 3 might Noxus Trifaria unit for the Order Domain. That says, when I move to a battlefield, play a 1 might recruit unit token here. Okay, so I like this one a lot. One, because it's on curve, 3 energy, 3 might, that's good. And then when you move it to a battlefield, you create more units, and you actually kind of make it a 4 might unit because it just creates another body. I think this one's pretty nice. It generates tokens. It buffs things up as long as you move to battlefields. You find a way to give this ganking, you can keep making more dudes the more and more you move her around. That's not bad. And that is going to be all the cards for today. I know that was a lot of cards. I know we went through them really quickly, but I hope you liked the video. I hope you got to see some cool stuff that you can be excited about when you get the Proving Grounds product for Riftbound in Set 1. And of course, you'll be opening those cards as well in the set Origins. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like. Comment down below if you're excited for some of these cards. And of course, subscribe to the channel in case you want to see whenever I come up with some more videos. Tomorrow's Wednesday. We should have more reveals, probably from Riftbound Official, that are like already planned, as they are off for the week. And plus, MSI is happening. So don't be surprised if I make some more videos this week. There might be some more news and updates. But thanks so much for watching, everybody, and have a good one.